took a handful of the prescription drugs, or even the other drugs that we're going to find out about. We're definitely going to find out about. And with the idea that he wanted to knock himself out and never come to again. That he wanted to go to sleep forever. I don't believe that either. But make no mistake about it. When he took the combination or the higher dosage of drugs that he did, probably to get a greater high, get a bigger buzz, a greater pharmaceutical effect, which is typical. You take these kind of drugs, you very quickly build up a tolerance to them. And entertainers, it's been my experience even through sports entertainment, you develop a sense of invincibility. You don't think it's ever going to be you. You think your life is on display in this worldwide grander storyline. Everybody knows about your life. You're one of the bigger world players. And you never think that you're going to be the one that's going to be plucked from the storyline. You don't think it's ever going to happen to you. But when he decided to take the combination or the higher dosage that he did, and when he put them in his mouth and he swallowed them, right then and there, he created the potential for his own death. I know people don't want to have that pointed out. More people want to run from the truth than get to it. But I don't have any respect for anyone who doesn't have enough respect for their own life first to consider the serious consequences of the choices they're getting ready to make. And unfortunately, this kid alone is the one that took himself before the doorway of his own death. Nobody else. Only him. People have written and said that I'm insensitive. Well, let me say something else people aren't going to want to hear. If you want to find real insensitivity, you need to look first to the family and friends. That's where you'll find insensitivity. They have known for a hell of a lot longer than any of us have what was going on, and they know exactly what was going on with this kid, their loved one. But none of them had the courage to step up and intervene and get him the help he needed to have. If they had, he'd still be alive today. That's insensitive. I'm not insensitive because I'm telling what the truths are. People have written and said that I don't have any sympathy or compassion. Again, that isn't true. I do have sympathy and compassion in these instances. But I have more love, compassion, and concern for my own two little girls than I do any other human beings on the whole planet. Some of you will say, man, that's really cold-hearted. I think it's having my priorities straight. And as their father, protector, and provider, I'm concerned about the world they're growing up in and the state of today's culture, which is shot all to hell. It's degenerate. There's nothing positive. There's nothing inspiring. There's nothing healthy or safe about today's culture. And it has a huge and powerful negative effect on young people. And like it or not, or know it or not, entertainment is the engine of our culture today. You write me and you say, you know, Warrior, it's not his fault that the media has paid so much attention to his death. I'm not trying to make the case that it is. But you make it seem like entertainment and media are two different things. And they're not. Not anymore. They're two whores that have been in bed with one another for a long, long time. And they are both driven by the desire to affect our culture. What is culture? Culture is what sets the standard for the behavior we will tolerate out of our fellow human beings. And it's undeniable. What we tolerate today is deplorable. Kids are obsessed with celebrity and finding their own 15 minutes of fame, no matter how degrading or shameful it is. And the media is obsessed with the glorified exploitation of every single idiotic and perverted act they can catch any celebrity engaging in. And the sad part is there are no happy endings to any of these private movies that young people are being bombarded with and influenced by. None. No happy endings at all. It's one thing to have a ruined reputation and not care about it when you are independently wealthy, have celebrity and fame, run with the crowd who could give a rat's ass about their own reputation, have limitless disposable time and money. But it's another thing when you really don't live a life that can afford it, as is the case with most young people watching today. At the end of the day, after they're through emulating all the self-destructive behavior, all they are left with is a reputation that doesn't have any value. And all they've left behind are the other ruined, wrecked lives. I am tired of having my kids exposed to it in every single direction they look. You can't get away from it. It's pervasive. It's all over the place. And I don't want them to grow up and believe that personal self-destruction is somehow unpreventable, or that it automatically deserves unconditional sympathy every time it happens, as the media makes it out to be. I'm really sick and tired of the cover-up that goes on every single time one of these self-indulgent, spoiled and pampered celebrities self-destructs and ends up dead. I'm tired of people attempting to paint a different portrait of the person and the scene of the tragedy than the ones I can see and know with my own eyes and mind. And what I'm most sick and tired of are the voices who have the forums, who have the attention, who claim to dislike the culture, who claim to recognize the negative impact it has on young people. Every single time something like this happens, they clam up out of political correctness, to make nice, so nobody gets their feelings hurt. They compromise the truth, they become hypocrites themselves, and they never back up with the bolder, blunter action, the beliefs and principles they so courageously in words claim they are willing to fight and die for. People who get paid claiming they know better need to think and act better. President Bush had a press conference pre-scheduled, to launch a campaign against the abuses of prescription drugs. They decided to cancel it because they thought it would be insensitive. You know, the first question I have is, how many government resources went into creating and developing this campaign? Because the people provide the government resources. Is it just another campaign created to go to waste? Like all the other campaigns and causes they ask us to get behind? Is the mission statement of this campaign to just simply fail? To not have a positive, constructive effect? To just give lip service to something else? To just preach one thing, practice another? I'm not inspired by it. And our leaders get away with this because of our culture. Me and my wife tell our kids that there's nothing more important than honesty. Nothing. I remember when I was growing up being told honesty was important. But I don't remember being told it's the most important thing. And any adult out there watching me right now knows, when you think back over the experiences of your life and the foul-ups and mistakes you've made in your life, you know today, if you're a reasonable thinking person, a decent and more mature person, you know that there's nothing more important than honesty, telling the truth. And we tell our kids, no matter what choices you make that are wrong, no matter what mistakes you make, never lie. Always tell the truth. And I'm tired of having the truth swept under the carpet by people who should know better and should behave better.